That makes sense. That's kind of cool.
Yep, I thought so as well. So, to continue, every household does cook it differently, but it is an authentic Chinese food. Areas like of China where they speak I think it's Bonganese. I'm probably butchering that word. They cook it in those villages. There's one specific village that Andy and Jing are both from. It's a common food there as well. But there is no authentically Chinese General Tso's chicken in America. Andy's never had it in America that tasted like real Chinese chicken. In America, they add more of a tomato base to it, and in China it has more of a pineapple base. In America, they actually tend to add, like, you know, they water it down basically. They make it very mild spice. Even the spicy one is mild. In China, it should burn your mouth so much that if you're used to spicy food, it would still burn.
Really?
And in some areas of China, it's so spicy that they won't serve it to you without a pitcher of water for you to drink while you eat. They leave the pitcher on the table. Now, if you may recall, I said you can't go to restaurants and get it. I should have clarified, I meant the American version. It doesn't exist in the restaurants there.
Okay.
And that's where TikTokers, due to, I guess, time restraints and just general spreading this information,
Which is
don't do enough research, or who knows. But that's where they fail to explain the finer details of why you can't get General Tso's chicken, air quotes, in China.
That's neat. I like learning all this little history stuff, since I never knew it. It's always neat to learn.
It is a good thing to learn. Now then, bouncing back. So I went to New Hong Kong and I asked for General Tso's, as I often do. And they had the worst and most pathetic excuse for General Tso's I have ever had. Ever.
Oh.
The breading was dry, the chicken was dull and lacking in flavor. It wasn't tender. It was white meat, which was nice, but it wasn't tender. The breading, just so poorly done. You could imagine, I could compare their breading to their General Tso's back in the day, at least. To, you could imagine a chicken soft taco shell dipped in water.
Ew.
Yes, very good. To top it off, it was pineapple based, which was nice. That was fine. But it was so weak. It had no spice. I went back through the line and said, "Excuse me, I asked for General Tso's chicken. I think there was a mistake." And they looked and said, "No mistake." I said, "Okay." I said, this is sweet chicken, sweet and sour chicken." He said, "No, that's General Tso." I said, "I thought General Tso was spicy." He said, "Oh, no, America no like spicy." And I thought, go to a Mexican restaurant and look around.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
American
don't like
like spicy.
Oh, you know. Yeah, everyone knows that those Mexican restaurants are all, like, on the edge of bankruptcy. Because no one goes.
They're packed every Saturday.
Yeah, that's because no one goes there. Because Americans don't like spicy.
Americans don't like spicy.
That's so funny. I don't know why that made me laugh so much.
I'm American too.
So, I told them that I asked again, are you sure that this is the right one? He said, yeah, it's right. Okay. I said, well, thank you. And already coming very far down in my scale, very quickly.
It's fair.
Well, I decided I'll give it a chance. I'll try to push through it and eat it. Now, bear in mind, I may sound snobbish. This particular point in my refined palate, as you said earlier, at this point in it, I believe this is when I was 15 or 17. I don't recall which. And I can already tell how poorly done this particular food was. My homemade General Tso's chicken is much closer to an authentically Chinese General Tso's than you're going to get at any Chinese place in America for the most part. Even Andy was impressed with how Chinese I make it.
Wow.
So, because he asked, what do I do? And I explained it, and he was impressed. He said that it sounds like I'm copying a Chinese recipe. I said, I'm not. I said, I am and I'm not. I said, I was copying what I thought it should be. And, but I was inspired by his. And his is by his uncle. And his uncle, Fujianese. That's the word I was looking for.
Fujianese?
His uncle cooks Fujianese style food. And, Fujianese is what I was inspired by when I make General Tso's. So my particular General Tso's recipe is similar to that of authentically Fujianese. It's not food Chinese, just to clarify. It's food Chinese.
But it just sounds like a mix between food and Chinese. Chinese.
That is
food, Chinese.
That is interesting. I just now realized y'all aren't here. So how's that download going?
No, not
Shouldn't be
bad.
able to- So anyway, yes.
I was just gonna make the comment of what I was doing is I'm getting some practice in on Mega Man since I'm tired of looking at this stupid boss. So, but I'm mostly just killing Tom. So, continue with what you were saying.
So anyway,
Fujianese.
Fujianese. Alright, so, the other thing is, Chinese food does often have broccoli with it or something like that. That's fairly common. But
Yeah.
what would you say is the most stereotypical and common food item to have with Chinese food? There's two.
Like vegetable-wise or just in general?
Just in general. Johnny, feel free to answer your guess as well.
Is it chow mein?
Lo mein, not chow mein. Lo
Ramen.
mein is soft noodle, chow mein is the hard noodle.
I was gonna say maybe rice.
That is the answer I was looking for. Rice is the number one most stereotypically Asian thing to have with your food, right?
I would think so.
Well, yeah.
That was a Japanese thing, but yeah, it's all Asians.
It is, because Filipino does it. Taiwanese food, Filipino food, Chinese food, Japanese food. Rice is the number one stereotypical or common food item to have alongside your main item, whatever
What
that
about
may be. The second most acceptable answer would have been lo mein, which would be more specific to China, because every Asian country does have their own noodles that they typically have, but the noodles vary in the way they're prepared and just everything about it varies significantly. Anyway, so, guys, they gave me neither for $14.95 back then. That's how much one tray of food cost.
That's a lot.
It came with chicken and broccoli, and
Chicken
that
and-
was all.
Chicken and broccoli?
Yep. So I felt like I had been completely robbed of what was otherwise going to be a fabulous Friday night of gaming. I always started my Friday night game night with one of three. Well, technically four, but generally speaking, I myself would always go with one of three things. Spaghetti being the number 2. Number 3 would be lasagna, and of course, number 1 was General So's. I started every Friday with General So's and lo mein, or General So's and white rice, and either a can of Mountain Dew Code Red. I would have occasionally Mellow Yellow, occasionally Mr. Pibb or Dr. Pepper, or Cherry Dr. Pepper, or Cherry Coke, or Cherry Pepsi. Rarely ever got the main flavor of any of the caramel colored soda drinks. I almost always went with Mountain Dew. Almost always. In fact, I would drink, Mountain Dew like it was going out of style.
Yeah.
And ironically, I'll sweet. Anyway, so for them to take that away from me
I bet that did not make you happy.
did not make me a happy camper. I had rented 2 new games. I had a fresh 12-pack of Mountain Dew. I had some of my friends online waiting to chat with me as soon as I would get home. And I had everything ready and prepared for a fabulous Friday night of gaming. And then they did the kicker, the sound off, the introduction to my night. Ruined. And it cost me $15 to ruin it. So,
Ooh.
that was the last time that I went there. I went back. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I'm just like, it's just all of that combined into one thing must have not been pleasant.
Yes. So, I went back to the King's Walk, where Andy's uncle was working and he owns that restaurant,
Yeah.
And I told him, he said, "Oh, we missed you. Haven't seen you in a few weeks." And I was such a regular there that I either would go, I would pick a month and have theirs every Friday night for the entire month, or every other Friday night. And it had been 3 weeks because I did spaghetti, and then the next week I gave, I think, spaghetti again, and then I tried Hong Kong. Instead of going, might have been spaghetti lasagna. Anyway, so I went with New Hong Kong instead of theirs, and told him. I said, "Oh, I went to New Hong Kong." He said, "Oh," and he looked downcast. His wife did most of the English speaking, and even she did. They both kind of looked down, a little downcast. He said, "Oh," and I said, "They were awful." And such a smirk of accomplishment grin crept across his face.
I bet it did. That's
That
funny.
made it worth it. It made it worth the $15 just to see that grin of pride. Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You could compare it to Sasuke getting Sharingan. That level of smirkiness.
That's funny.
And early mark. Anyway, and I told him, I said they were awful. He said, oh. He said, why were they bad? I said, they're General Tso's. He said, yeah. He said, well, then his wife said, what was wrong with the General Tso? And I said, it was just so sweet. I said, it had no spice, no kick, nothing to it. I said, and they didn't even give me noodles or rice. And then she told him what I said, and he laughed. And then whenever I ordered the same thing I always order, General Tso's and lo mein. He gave me extra General Tso's, extra lo mein, and extra sauce as a apology to the bad Chinese food that I had from them.
Aww.
And that was so nice of him. So that then concreted that I would not go to another Chinese place. And outside of me leaving town and feeling like eating Chinese food when I'm away, I have given King's Walk my exclusive business since then. And that was, let me see. Hold on, I may have given you the wrong information on the date. Let me think about when that was. For 12 years.
12
years I have been exclusive to them.
Wow.
As my only bought Chinese food. I make my own, as you know, more often than anything. But that I go out of my way to buy 12 years.
Wow.
I haven't had anybody else's. And let me think. Local. Anybody else's locally. I will clarify. I eat at other restaurants. I sit down and eat one. On date nights and stuff with Connie. But I've never really thought of them so much as the same, kind of Chinese place, because theirs is takeout only. Yeah. And that's sit down and eat. So I should say 12 years takeout exclusivity with me is what they've had. And in general, I've been eating there for almost 15 years.
Wow. I don't think I ever ate there before I met you.
Huh.
I don't think so.
Part of me wishes you could have, because then you could have had Andy's uncle, his cooking instead. Andy cooks really good. Andy redid the menu, and he cooks everything his style. And I like Andy's style. No, don't get me wrong on that. But about a year, maybe 9 months after Andy got in it, maybe it was just a few months before Andy, I don't remember which, they had to switch to all dark meat chicken because they wanted to keep the price the same. They didn't want to take up the menu price, and Andy was afraid that if he took the price up, no one would eat there anymore.
I guess that makes sense. That's a pretty understandable fear.
Especially because the mall was failing then and it's really failing now. Johnny, did you join yet?
Yeah, I did.
The download is done. I will be on in just a minute. I do have a quick question. Is it okay if I do post this recording? I was playing Mega Man, but I finally made it through that one part I've been struggling with.
That's fine with me.
Okay,
Just, I will look up online to see if I can find any of those places, and if it's a dead giveaway to the town you live in, then I'd suggest editing those parts out.
Okay, or I could just take it down. It doesn't really matter, per se, but the last thing I did with this was I was where I'm at currently, and then the next part would be if I cut this one out. Hey, I made it to the final boss. Don't worry about what happened in the meantime. Just trust me that I did it.
I mean, they'd have to know that you did it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You could say that there was some audio issues.
That's crazy. You know, I always knew. Okay. All right. Bye, everyone who's watching this video. Thank you for Philip/Whiteland Pro for providing the story that you heard today. He did an excellent job, and I've now learned some more things and stuff. So.
Bye.
Mwah.